guys, we are going to start the meat because this is what's going to take the longest. And what I have here is some chile guajillo, just like this one. I will put a link for these below if I can find one. Okay, what I did is I cut the tails off and I took the seeds out, and then I just cut them into little pieces like this just to make it easier. And then I have a half of a, it's a pretty large onion that I just cut into little squares. And then here I have some garlic cloves, about 4 to 5 medium. And now we're just going to cut the meat. Now the meat, I'm not fussy about the meat. There's a million ways to make street tacos and, you know, different types of meats and stuff. So I'm not really picky about it. So I just had some odds and ends in the freezer that I need to use up. And I don't mind mixing it up. I just cut it into pieces like this, throw it into the pot. Like this is a roast that I've needed to use. I just cut it in half and half again and just put it in chunks like this so it can cook faster. Okay, and then to the pot, what we are going to add is some comino, some ground comino. I will list the recipe below, guys, so don't worry. We are going to add some kosher salt, quite a bit. And then we are just going to cover it with water. You don't have to fill it too much. Just make sure that the meat is right to the top. Okay, this should be just about right. I'm going to go ahead and put this whole thing. I'm going to set it to simmer. I'm going to bring it to a boil. Then I'm going to let it simmer for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. We want the meat very, very tender. So I'm going to pop this on the stove and I'll be back when it's ready. Okay guys, the meat should be ready. And what we are going to do now, I'm just going to test it with the, see how easily it's going to shred right there? I hope you can see that. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to turn the fire off and I am going to put the meat into this bowl. I'm going to put the meat, just the meat, into the bowl. And then we're going to set the rest of the broth, we're going to set it to cool just for about 10 minutes or so because we're going to pop it all into the blender. There's so many ways to make these tacos, and I mean I've seen if I haven't seen 50 recipes, I haven't seen any. So many ways, and then you adjust them. You know how after you taste them, if you don't like a certain thing, just leave it out for the next time. That's how basically this stuff starts. This is just something to get you going. Okay, I'm going to set this aside, let this cool for 10 minutes, and then we're going to proceed to the blender. Okay, now while we're waiting for our broth to cool, we're going to chop our meat to get it ready. And all I do, guys, just take my knife, and that's it. It's real easy to take it apart. Now, if you want to have certain slices or whatever, you can do whatever you want with the meat. I like it like this because then I incorporate some of the sauce in there and it just absorbs it. Real tasty. Okay, then I just put it back on the plate and we're going to puree our sauce, fry up our sauce. You could even do this in the crock pot, guys. Just do that step of boiling the meat with the chiles in the crock pot. Leave it overnight and you're done. It's a real easy step. Okay, we're going to pop over to the stove. Okay, guys, here I have the chile and the broth from the meat. We're going to put a little bit of salt in there and we're going to puree this until very, very fine, okay? So just start it on low so that it doesn't blow. It has been cooling. Okay guys, here I have a skillet that is probably already hot. I'm going to add a little bit of oil, about 2 tablespoons of oil, and then I'm going to take my salsa that we just pureed. See that sizzle? I'm going to save some of this for another day. And we're going to bring this up to a boil and we're going to let it simmer for about 15 minutes. Just till it reduces by 1/3 at least. And at this point, this is where you want to taste it to make sure your seasonings are okay. And basically what you want to put in is just salt and pepper, and that's really about it at this point. A little bit more salt. And a little bit of pepper. Put a little bit of oregano as soon as it cooks down just a little bit, because the oregano is what gives it the ultimate flavor. And when this starts to boil, we are going to take our meat that we shredded. We're going to take our meat here and we are going to add some of this chile to it. Not a whole lot, just enough to moisten the meat. Okay guys, this has been simmering for about 10 minutes. I'm going to put the last thing in there, which is the oregano. This is Mexican oregano. I just take it between my fingers and pinch it. You don't want a whole bunch, just about a half of a teaspoon. And continue to let it reduce. Okay guys, this is ready. As you can see, it's thickened up pretty nicely. And what we're going to do now is we're going to take the bowl of meat and just bring it up closer to the stove. And we're going to add some of this sauce to the meat to keep it moist. Not a whole bunch, not to make it soggy or anything, but just enough to give it that little flavor. Okay, now we're going to get our tortillas ready and assemble these tacos. Okay guys, now the last step is I take my tortillas that I have here. I'm going to dip them into the sauce lightly like that. Let it drip, don't let it get too mushy. And then I just put them on the griddle, just like that. And I put them by twos because I like to make my tacos by twos so they don't tear. Just like that. Okay, and then you let them cook. They're going to warm up really fast. And then I turn over the top one. And then you just let them cook for about 30 seconds or so on each side. Flip over the last side. And you're done. I just put them on a plate. Keep piling them up. And we're done. Now we're going to assemble our tacos. Okay guys, finally to the assembly line we go. Now if you want to use the larger tortillas, you can. I take my tortilla, I put my meat inside, and then I just lay them out. You can serve them family style, individual. Oof, but they're hot. They're still very hot. I'm just going to put them right there. Put your little meat. Put them together just like that. I can tell you one thing, this smells delicious. And then you take your last one. Okay, and there you go. And now if you want to put them closer together, so when you sprinkle the onion on them, you know, you can just sprinkle them all on top like this, or if you don't want onion, don't put onion. Put cucumber, a lot of things you can put. Some fresh cilantro. Little squeeze of lime, and here we have some salsita, and I do have a recipe for this salsa up in the it'll be in the description bar, and you can serve it with some aguacate. Have everybody get their own, and look at that, delicious. Let me take you in for a close-up, guys. I'll tell you what, this is one meal that nobody's going to gripe about. And like I said, if you don't like onion, you can put some chile, some diced chile, whatever you like. Okay, guys, that's going to conclude the video for today. I sure hope you enjoyed it. I sure had fun making it for you. If you enjoyed it, give us a thumbs up on this video, guys. Subscribe to the channel. I'm going to put the link right there for you. And I will have the recipe and everything in the description bar below. And let me know what you think about this recipe in the comments below. I sure like interacting with y'all. Go and visit us on Facebook and Instagram at Virtual Kitchen with Laura. And thank you so much for sharing the videos, guys. Okay, talk to y'all later. Bye.